Welcome back to News Talk, 16 before the hour now. So imagine having your dream vacation ruined when your cruise ship sails into hurricane-force winds. That's what happened to passengers aboard a Royal Caribbean ship bound for the Caribbean. That ship, with battered passengers, exhausted after their ordeal, now returning to New Jersey, where the whole trip began. Using remarkable video shot by those on board, correspondent Lindsay Davis has the harrowing story.
Whoa, look at this.
Look. Take a look at this new video. Rough seas ultimately causing the Royal Caribbean cruise ship to turn around. This morning, the ship is on its way back to New Jersey after hurricane-force winds gusting over 100 miles per hour and 30 to 40-foot waves prevented it from making it to its final destination of the Bahamas.
The ship was really rocking back and forth and tipping side to side, and cabinets were slamming open.
Passengers used cell phones to capture scenes that looked like they were right out of the Titanic. Flying furniture and shattered glass as massive waves pounded the anthem of the seas as it moved right into a rough storm off the Carolina coast not long after leaving New Jersey over the weekend. The captain ordering the 4,500 passengers and 1,600 crew members to stay in their rooms for hours.
The amount that things were shifting around our room was a little frightening.
4 passengers suffered minor injuries. Now some on board blame the captain.
I'm really concerned about the captain's judgment in this situation. I really resent the fact that he put 6,000 people's lives at risk, taking us into a storm that was predicted.
Royal Caribbean apologized to passengers in a statement Monday, adding, while the weather was unpleasant, the ship remained seaworthy at all times. We thank the captain and crew for guiding the ship safely back to better weather.
The cruise line is promising passengers a full refund and a 50% discount on a future cruise. Meanwhile, one senator is calling for an NTSB investigation as far as why the cruise ship left the port in the first place when they knew there was a storm in the forecast for several days. Lindsay Davis, ABC News, Bayonne, New Jersey.
Joining us now, travel writer Troy Petenbrink. Good to have you back. Thanks very much for your time.
Hey, thanks, Bruce.
Can you imagine? So, I mean, you travel a lot.
I do. I've actually been on this ship, actually.
You've been on the...
I did the inaugural sail with the Anthem of the Seas.
Anthem of the Seas.
Yep.
Many of us have had one or two, been lucky enough to take 1 or 2 cruises. We all think about safety. We all hope for the best. Can you imagine having an experience like this?
I can't imagine, and I can't imagine how difficult it has to have been for a lot of those passengers, especially those rooms are not very big, and the ships are designed to actually take advantage of being outside your room. So I can see how it would be really frustrating. And I've had situations with hurricanes on travel actually in a hotel, and I know how crazy I was going just in my hotel room. I can only imagine on the ship when it's actually moving.
And you're in the ocean.
I mean, you're in the ocean.
Everyone is asking the same question. How could they have gone into this weather? Why didn't they see it coming? And I haven't seen any good explanation to begin to answer any of those, not just obvious questions, but arguably life and death questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that there is going to be an investigation, and I know that the cruise line, they're in the business of making sure people have a pleasant cruise. I mean, so, I think that they will be looking at this as well. Unfortunately, Mother Nature oftentimes marches to the beat of her own drum. We've experienced that here in D.C. many a times. I was expecting snow on the ground this morning. But I do think it is a serious question. I think that there will be some investigations. It's oftentimes a no-win situation for a lot of these folks. They would have been upset if the cruise had been canceled and there hadn't been a storm. And again, some of the times it's oftentimes unpredictable. But I bet you will see some changes come out of this.
Do they run the risk of almost making it worse by describing the weather as unpleasant? There's been a lot of video. It's all pretty scary. And I wouldn't put it in the unpleasant category. I mean, I know you can't come out and say, we apologize for putting your lives at risk, because that emboldens those who are already on the phone with an attorney. So I get that lawyers enter the picture often pretty early in these things. But is there something to be said for acknowledging in a more real way, in a fuller way, what they put their passengers through?
Yeah, I'm sure Royal Caribbean's in a very difficult situation with these sort of situations. At the same time, I think it's a testament to the fact that only 4 people were injured. I was actually surprised. I mean, you see the folks who were out there trying to do their social media and stuff. So I'm just so surprised somebody didn't go overboard trying to get that perfect shot of the waves. But I do think it is a difficult situation for them. And again, I think they're going to come out with some new policies and procedures. I'm sure we're going to see that happen.
It's important to focus on safety when you're taking a trip, and every trip I've been on, you are in a safety drill within hours of getting on that ship. It's not day 2, it's not day 3.
No, it is within hours.
It's very fast.
Yeah.
And it's not just a lecture or, hey, everybody, there's a card in your room, read the card. They make you go to the place that you would go in an emergency if you had to get on a tender and get off. So it has that feeling of, let me walk the walk that I would do in an actual emergency and get a feel for where to be, what to do. So from that perspective, they are thinking about safety.
Absolutely.
And it's on us as passengers to absorb as much of that messaging as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, within minutes, you're right, within minutes of getting on the ship, you go through your safety, and they take it very seriously. I mean, you know, I was there, and they're yelling at you to put down your cell phones. They want you to pay attention, and I think they do a good job with that. And every crew member on that ship is trained, and that's the nice part about it as well.
And every crew member has a safety role. So somebody might be in the laundry area.
Absolutely.
They might be a waiter, whatever, someone who replenishes the towels, whatever it is they do, sort of 9 to 5, or as part of their.
Oh yeah,
they have a safety role that's even more important than the fact that they bring ice to the ice machine.
Yeah, absolutely. There's 1,600 crew members on that ship, and every one of them had a role to play during that experience.
Do mishaps like this, and maybe mishaps a little bit strong because the ship was damaged, but the injuries were few and
very few, and actually the ship will be sailing again starting in just a few days.
Do they hurt the industry, like when the Coastal Concordia, whatever that ship was called, that ran aground and was listing on its side, and the world for days and weeks saw images of a cruise ship in that horrible position? You could only imagine the distress and the death and everything that happened there. Does this hurt cruising as a travel method?
Well, I mean, you always see a slight decline after these sort of things. Not only is it the weather, but if it's a virus outbreak or things like that. I think for folks who are frequent travelers, it doesn't faze them as much. They understand that these things happen. For your more casual cruiser, yeah, they're probably going to have some second thoughts about this. But I also think that it's important that folks plan ahead of time. There's lots of things you can kind of do. You want to monitor the weather. You have the option oftentimes to cancel. Get your travel insurance too. I mean, if you're planning your dream vacation, spend the extra few dollars to get that travel insurance so that you can make up the lost cash and things like that. And understand what the policies are when you're getting ready to plan a trip like this. You know, what happens if you do cancel? What happens if the trip is interrupted? How much of that money you're going to get back? Because that's probably what's going to frustrate people a lot more after this cruise than the actual cruise itself if they run into money problems.
They say they're going to refund the price of the trip for everyone, and if 50% of whatever you pay is good for future travel, one has to wonder how many people are going to be rushing to, I mean,
believe it or not, you're probably going to see a lot of those people went out and probably rebooked already.
Because the destinations are great. And
the destinations are great. They're loyal to these ships. And I have to say, I mean, like I said, I sailed on this ship. It's amazing. And I can imagine how people are frustrated that they weren't able to enjoy it.
One of the bigger ships.
Actually, the second, third largest ship on the ocean right now.
I know a lot of people like the smaller or the more medium-sized vessels. Do you feel overcrowded on a trip with that many other passengers?
You know, the ships are so large, you really don't. There's so many things you can do, so many activities. And it's very interesting. Even if you have to stay, oftentimes if it rains, you're oftentimes not able to go outside and stuff. These ships are built to accommodate that and to have people still have an enjoyable time while they're there.
And not have to wait for the things folks don't want to wait on.
Exactly.
A whole part of the fun of being away is not having to stand in line for whatever it is.
Yeah, the buffet keeps moving.
That we can be sure of. Troy Pietenbrink is a local travel writer. Thanks very much for coming in to talk.
Pleasure to be on.
We'll step aside, back with a program note after this.